Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow. And Jerry, we're 5 episodes into the season. A lot of hockey, the Wild, the Bolt. Boy, the Bolt. Were you down at Notre Dame?
No,
I was
darn
hoping
it.
you were there.
But I watched the game on TV on Friday night.
Yeah.
I had a chance to watch it, and that was a really come-from-behind victory. I liked it.
Real quick, KDAL 610 AM, 103.9 FM, home of Bulldog hockey. You can also go to KDAL610.com, and on their website they have streaming, and you can listen to the game on streaming, and that's what I did.
Oh, where were you?
I was home.
Why didn't you watch it on NBC Sports Network on Friday night?
Because I want to listen to it on the radio, Jerry.
You want to hear Bruce?
Yes!
All right.
I peeked into the radio, or into the TV from time to time, but I was away from the TV, so I had to listen to it on the internet, which was great. But the UMD Bulldogs swept Notre Dame in South Bend, and my goodness, Jerry, they dominated the weekend.
Well, I thought the first game, I didn't see on Saturday night because I was at the Wild game, and it was an early game, so I was doing other things. But I think Notre Dame played better on Saturday night. But Friday night, it looked like domination, shots and everything. And I tell you what, I told you earlier in the season, I like those two Cape brothers.
They are something else.
They showed up this weekend.
Yeah.
They're the real deal.
They really are. Noah and Jackson?
Yes. You got it.
Yes.
You remember those names.
Oh, yeah. We paid close attention this weekend.
Yeah.
So the Bulldogs took care of Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was highly touted coming into this. Best team in the nation, ranked number one, but UMD now has that number one ranking.
They came back, and they're number one now. Yep.
If you look at the pairwise, Penn State is ranked number one.
See, I'll never understand that pairwise. Here you play the number one team in the nation, beat them both games, and UMD is down about 7 or something.
I thought
like
eighth.
Eighth, maybe,
in
yeah.
The pairwise.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry. But it is what it is. But it doesn't matter right now. It's at the end of the season. The pairwise count.
So the Bulldogs have this weekend off.
Yes, they do.
And then they'll resume play with their first NCHC conference game.
Right, with a lot better team. Colorado College, they're a lot better. They're getting better and better every year now. They're recruiting, and they're getting a lot of Minnesota kids now, Colorado College. So,
you know, there's something about this Bulldog team that seems better than last year.
now I think with some of these freshmen starting off the year right away, I mean, like they've been here for a couple years.
And I know it's early.
And if they can stay healthy, they get a lot more kids that are scoring, I think. And I think that's the big thing. The defense looks the same, and their penalty kill is great. I mean, I watched that penalty kill the other night. I think they had about 8 penalties with Notre Dame.
Well, they had a 5-on-3 for a period of time, too, on Saturday night.
But the penalty kill has been excellent so far this
year.
year.
5-on-3, they had a kill, right. Yeah. And, there's something special about this Bulldog team. And preseason pick to win the NCHC. And, again, I know it's early. But this showing against Notre Dame was really impressive. And, will there be a letdown in 2 weekends against Colorado College? I certainly hope not.
Well, they got Colorado College here, and then they go out to Denver. Denver's a top 10 team. They're ranked number 8 right now.
Yeah.
And they got to play them 4 games this year. They got to play St. Cloud State 4 games. They got a tough schedule. They got all the top NCHC teams for 4 games. North Dakota, which beat Minnesota out there in Las Vegas this weekend, Saturday night, in the Hall of Fame game, 3-1. Minnesota had the lead 1-0. So, hey, the NCHC has a lot of good teams.
Now, this Hall of Fame game, why would it be hosted in a city where there's not a collegiate hockey team?
I don't understand. They're just trying something different and trying to get the game out there more.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe Vegas people...
Is there thought that UNLV might join college hockey ranks?
No.
The Running Rebels?
No, that's not in.
Okay.
They're not even
Well,
close.
Arizona State is out there. They're the lone Western
They're going to
college.
build a. Yeah, but I see the West Coast, a couple other colleges in the next 5 years.
Well, maybe UNLV.
Maybe
Okay.
down the line.
All right.
Someone put some money.
Well, they got a
up.
pro team in Las Vegas
Right.
now.
And they got that the Orleans stadium that fits about 6,500, 7,000. So they got a stadium to use.
Yeah.
And I mean, they might build one right on campus, but yeah.
Scott Perinovich is in the top. I think he's fourth in the nation in points. 1 goal, 10 assists.
He has 10 assists already? Wow. That's great.
And I believe he was fourth in scoring in the nation.
Well, last year, Phil Ballou was #1 in the defensemen in scoring, and he had 3 assists this weekend. Former Duluth East player, he plays for Northern Michigan, and they split with Bemidji State. I'll tell you what, Minnesota has 3 great D1 teams. I mean, they got, 4 really.
Yeah.
They got UMD #1,
Sure.
they got St. Cloud State #2, they got Minnesota State Mankato #4, and then they got Minnesota, which is, they're 10 now. They were 5, but hey, 4 in our state of the 5 teams are in the top 10.
And Bemidji, where are they?
And they're not in the top 20.
They're not, okay.
No.
Okay.
But they always play tough, though. They split this weekend with Northern Michigan. So, but it's great. And all these teams have a lot of Minnesota kids. So,
Yeah.
So it's Minnesota connection, all right.
Well, we are the state of hockey, Jerry.
Yeah. And we are the Minnesota Hockey Connection.
Okay, so Bulldogs seem to be on a roll. Again, they'll have this weekend off. They'll resume at Amsoil. What is it, November 4th?
No, it'll be the 9th and 10th, is it? Let's see, where am I? Yep, 9th and 10th, Friday and
Okay.
Saturday night.
Yep.
So, a week from this Friday.
Okay.
So that'll be a good start of the conference games. So it'll be interesting this year. It's going to be tough, a lot of parity in this league. It's going to be hard to sweep any team.
Yeah, yeah. College of St. Scholastica, they seem to be getting a late start with their schedule. I think maybe they start, is it this weekend or the following weekend?
I'm not sure on that, but I know the
Division III has begun. But
I know the ladies started already. They
Have
won
they?
a game
Okay.
and tied
Okay.
this weekend. So, and the coach, we've had her on our show, Jackie McMillan. Mm-hmm. She just got her 100th victory.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we've had her dad
good
here,
for
too.
good for Jackie and
Yeah.
for the team, St. Scholastica ladies.
Okay, so again, where was I going with this? We've got
The D3 starting, the men.
right, and Division I hockey and the Bulldogs, #1 in the nation. But there's something about this current Bulldog lineup I can't get enough of. They're
You're going to have to get out there.
there's
for
no
a few games.
superstars there. There's no underachievers.
Oh, I think Perinovich is a kind of a superstar now.
Okay, we'll give him that label.
And then Tufte's a #1, first round draft pick. So a lot of people are watching him. But I like this team.
Yeah, yep.
I like this team.
How is former Bulldog assistant coach working out who replaced?
Brett Larson, you're saying?
Well, he replaced Brett. Who came in?
Adam Krause.
Adam Krause.
Yeah, well, it's a learning stage.
Sure.
It's first year of doing this, and he's young. So, it's tough, to get into it, but they're going slow with him, and they're teaching him everything.
Yeah.
They got some good people to help them out.
Well, good. So Bulldog hockey off to a great start. The women, how'd they do this weekend?
They split with St. Cloud State, and even in WCHA, there's a lot of teams that are a lot better that are not the forefront, like Minnesota and Wisconsin. Bemidji State's a lot better team. St. Cloud State's a lot better team. Ohio State's a lot better team, and it goes on and on. So
Yeah.
it's that's getting a tougher league for the ladies too. So, but they split, and well, I didn't even look. I think they're 7th in the polls right now. And we'll see. It's the beginning of the year, and they got that goalie, Rooney, Olympic champions, in net here.
Yeah.
She's going to help the team a lot until some of these younger players get going,
Sure.
They got a lot of freshmen on this team, so we'll see.
Good. What else you got?
Well, Wild. They just
I thought maybe you had some more college stuff, but okay, all right.
No, that's about it for college. I mean, like I say, Minnesota lost to North Dakota on Saturday night in the Hall of Fame game in the Orleans Arena in Vegas.
What was the score?
3-1.
Okay.
Minnesota was ahead 1-0, and then I think North Dakota got a couple power plays. But UMD on Friday night, Parker Mackay and Nick Schwaney and Dylan Sandberg scored. And boy, if you were watching that game on TV on Friday night, Richards and Sweeney were going down the ice and they're shorthanded. And it was 2-on-1. And Sweeney passed it over to Richards. And right at the last minute, Richards passed over to Sweeney and the net was wide open.
Yeah.
It was tic-tac-toe. I mean, it was beautiful watching that. And then the winning goal, that tied the game with about 7 minutes left. And then Dylan Sandberg, the Hermantown former player, he just took the puck from the blue line, and it was kind of a screwball. He didn't hit it hard or anything. It was just floating. And the goalie was green and it hit a player in front. It went in. So it was a crazy goal, but that happens.
Sure. And, I'm not sure who the announcer was Saturday night, but boy, they were talking of Dylan Sandberg and him being picked by the Winnipeg Jets, and Winnipeg Jets looking for size, and and I thought, well,
I think if I have to say one thing, I think we're going to lose a couple D after this season. I think the 2 sophomores are gone to the pros.
Brnovich.
Yep, and Sandberg. Yep,
yeah.
I think that, but I hope not.
Well,
I hope they stay. But
other ones out there waiting to be recruited.
Well, we got some coming in, but a lot of them they're real young.
Yeah.
So we'd be hurting if they left on D. Mm-hmm. I think forwards were all right, and we got some good ones coming in too. So, but D, I think I'm a little worried right now.
What changed? Scott Sandlin has been the head coach of this team for 15 years, or it's been a while.
I'll tell you what changed.
And there was really nothing going on, and there was some mediocrity there for a while. And then, boom, 2011, a championship. And this team has been a championship caliber team since 2011, really. Right. Last year, we won another championship. This year, this team looks strong.
And 2 years ago, we went to the finals.
And what happened? What changed?
I think what happened is he got some great assistant coaches. He had Brett Larson. They win the championship in 2011. And he took off for the USHL to be a general manager and coach of the Sioux City. Then from there, he went to Ohio State as associated head coach with Steve, the Hill Murray kid. Rollick, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did a good job and got that program going. Now that's a top 10 team too. So Brett Larson, number one. Then they got Derek Plant took his spot. He kept it going. And then they got Jason Herder, and he's doing they're great at, those two, Larson and Herder were great at recruiting. And they're great assistant coaches on the ice too. So I think the assistant coaches were the biggest thing.
Well, obviously, kids, young players want to play in a program that has some potential to maybe vie for a championship. And after 2011, we're able to offer that. And there's been a tradition here now that Coach Sandlin has put together that has become pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and I think another thing, they started going after, they still get Canadians and a few Canadians. But they really look at these Minnesota kids a lot now, a lot stronger than they ever used to. And plus, they're looking at the northern Minnesota. Before they just bypassed them like.
Oh, that's the big difference.
Remember, think about it.
They're staying home.
Yeah, they're getting looking
at the backyard rinks.
They're getting a lot of Hermantown kids right now. They're getting those kids right now.
Sure.
They've had a few good Duluth East, Andy Walensky and Dom Toninato, and they got a few East kids.
Hermantown really has been kind of a feeder program for
on
this
the defense.
program.
They've been getting a lot of great defenses.
You know, which is not too surprising, seeing how they've won state championships now.
Well, all the coaches live in Hermantown.
There you go. But there was something earlier that slipped my mind, but I wanted to bring this up to you. Nebraska-Omaha, what has happened down there? I mean, this team has not won a game yet, and they're losing.
Big.
Yeah.
I mean, they were behind 7-0 one night, and then they're behind 4-0. I mean, just crazy. I mean, I'm ready to call up Jake Randolph, Coach Mike Randolph's kid, and see what's going on with the team, because he played at Omaha, and, I mean, under Dean Blaze, and then this new guy comes in.
Dean's gone now.
Yeah, he's been gone for a couple of years.
Right.
And this new coach, I don't know if it's recruiting or what's going on, but...
well, it's the southernmost team, if you will, in the NCHC. Probably one of the southernmost teams in college hockey.
No, it's not the southernmost team. There's 2 Colorado teams in the NCHC, Denver and Colorado College.
Okay, but that's, I consider that a western. Is that, are they south of Omaha?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I'm going to have to call up Jake or text him, see what he has to say. Or even talk to Coach Randolph, Duluth East coach, and see what he's hearing.
But Omaha, my goodness.
Because they stay in tune with the programs after you leave the program, you know, after you're done.
And that was a school that, you know, had some promise.
That's the only team that doesn't seem like they're competitive right now.
No wins. Yeah. Again, I know it's early. I think they're 0-5.
Yeah, but they're not even competing.
Right.
That's the problem. If they compete,
right.
and like Bemidji State, they compete. Mm-hmm. When they lose, it's going to be a 2-1, 3-1 score.
Yeah. Well, I like this defense of this UMD team. I think Shepard, our goaltender, is better than he was last year. Forwards, the young Cates brothers.
Right. They both scored on Saturday night.
There's just a very good vibe right now on this Bulldog team. Minnesota Wild hockey. The Wild ended on a positive note at home with a win over Colorado on Saturday night, the 27th. And Colorado kind of took it to them in that first period. I watched the game, and that first period, Colorado played in Minnesota's end the whole period. The Wild got things together, and they eked out a victory.
Yeah, they've been finding ways to win. It's not pretty. Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I'll say the Saturday game with Colorado has been their best game at home this season. And I've only missed one. But I tell you what, I don't know how they're pulling these games off sometimes. But they're doing it. So they won 5 straight now. That's pretty good. But now they go on the road. They're gone they don't come home for 17 days, and they got 7 games on the road.
The Wild will not be back in St. Paul until November 13th when they take on Washington. So you're right. They start a game tonight. We're taping on the 29th at Vancouver, and that's a late start, 9 o'clock. And then Tuesday night at Edmonton, 8 o'clock. And then they'll take 3 days off and travel to St. Louis on Saturday the 3rd for a 7 o'clock game. And then they'll be back on the West Coast, San Jose, 9:30 at Los Angeles, 9:30 at Anaheim, 9 o'clock. And then they'll take Saturday the 10th of November off. And then they'll go to St. Louis again and finish up that long road trip. Sunday, Veterans Day, the 11th, 2 o'clock at St. Louis. They'll have Monday the 12th off, back home on the 13th against Washington.
Yeah, I never seen it, and this is almost 20 years since they've been in existence, and 17 games on the road. I've seen it only...
17 days.
Days, I mean, yeah. 17 days, but the only time I ever seen that was the Olympics. When the Olympics, they take that break, you know. This is weird scheduling, I think, by the National Hockey League.
It is, and to squeeze 2 games at St. Louis is just a little odd as well. But the Minnesota Wild seem to be, finding good combinations, and they're getting good goaltending. Dubnyk's playing well.
I was looking at big thing on Saturday night. They had a pregame celebration, kind of. With Ryan Suter.
Yeah.
1,000 games.
Got the silver stick.
Yeah.
Pretty
Had the
nice.
whole family there.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. You got to figure, if you're healthy and no player goes through, but you got to play 12 and a half years to get 1,000 healthy.
Yeah.
And that's impossible.
Well, it's not impossible.
Well, name one player that's made it through 12 and a half years without missing a game.
I see. In that time span.
Yeah. You have to go 12 and a half years.
Yeah.
So usually it takes you 14, 15 years to get there.
I guess the person that I would think might have done it was Wayne Gretzky, because he played pretty much injury-free throughout his career.
Well, every team was told not to hit him. And then when you tried, you couldn't.
But you're right. It is, and it's a huge milestone for Ryan Suter. He would have done this last year had he not been injured, no, he got injured late in the season. So he would have, but nonetheless, Ryan Suter, the 1,000th game, got the big silver stick.
And look
Very
at
nice.
the only other player on the Wild team is Eric Stahl. He has 1,102.
There you go.
So there's no other player. Even you talk about Mikko Koivu, he's been around 100 years, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I think he only has about 900 and some, huh? 933, yeah.
933. Zach, 881. So,
So
Mikko will do it next year, barring any
well, I was looking
injuries.
all the games that the Minnesota Wild forwards and D and that against Colorado's. Minnesota players have over twice as many games as the forwards of Colorado. So that just shows you how different in age these players are between the two teams.
You know, I remember when Mikko got drafted. And, it was back in the day, internet was still kind of infant to some degree, personal computers. And I was curious about Mikko Koivu, and it was the start of the Wild franchise, really. And I hated those thunder sticks when you go to games.
Yeah.
They're very annoying from a fan perspective. And I sent an email to the Wild. I said, what's the status on Mikko Koivu? And they said, well, he's still in the organization, and, we hope that he develops. And then I said, and one other thing, please don't ever have thunder sticks as part of a promotion. And their response was, don't worry, we won't.
First time someone listened to you. Beautiful. Well, the Upper Midwest Elite League had their playoffs, and the North team was missing 6 players.
Okay.
So they only had 13 skaters.
Illness?
12. Most of them illness.
Yeah.
And 4 Duluth East kids were hurt. Didn't play. So here's a top team in the league for the first 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden the injuries and everything, they didn't do good in the playoffs this weekend. They lost all 3 games. So, but now the only thing left in the high school is they have this IIT tournament. It's International Invite Tournament, it's called. And Minnesota will have 2 teams in this tournament. Then you get the 2 teams from the Elite League. They make an all-star team from all these players. There's 6 Minnesota teams in Elite League, so they get 2 teams out of that 6 teams. And then they bring in a team from Canada, which is Stansted College, but they're really a prep school, a prep college school. They got a team from Germany. They got the Elite Michigan team. They got Shattuck. And let's see, and Chicago Mission, one of the better Tier 1 teams in the United States, Chicago Mission. So there's a lot of good hockey players. So there'll be a lot of scouts at this. But the thing that surprises me, I got to find out who's doing this, but on Saturday, November 12th, the week after this weekend where the IIT is, they're going to have a prospect game, and all the players, this is Minnesota elite players, and they're saying this is for the scouts, and it's done at the Minnesota Wild practice arena, the TRIA rink, downtown St. Paul. It's only like 4 blocks from the Wild.
Have you seen the facility?
I didn't go in there yet.
Okay.
But I was thinking, why would they have this? Because it's the same players that these scouts have seen all year round in the Elite League.
Yeah.
So why would, is this a money thing? Or plus, a lot of these players are burnt out it's on November 10th, Saturday, in the afternoon at the TRIA. Then November 12th, the high school starts their practices. Mm-hmm. So I got to find out more about this because it doesn't make sense to me why. And a lot of these players, like I say, are burnt out and they don't want to play in anything. No.
Yeah.
They want to rest up for high school now.
Sure.
And but the Elite League, Southeast won the playoffs. So they had all 8 teams in there for the playoffs, and Southeast won. So the only thing left is the IIT and then the prospect game for Minnesota elite players at the TRIA rink.
Wilderness struggling a little bit?
They split this weekend, but they played a very good team, Jamesville, out of Wisconsin, one of the better teams in the league, so it's not a struggle. And I think they'll get it together. They have a lot of good forwards, and hey, if their goalies play decent, I think their biggest problem might be in the defense. Yeah. But they're working on that.
We got to go. Check us out on Facebook. Like us on our Facebook page. Go to our website, MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. We have a YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel. And we want to thank the staff at PACT-TV where this program is produced. And Jerry, we'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
Yes, we will. So see you at the rink, and probably in a week or 2, I'll put up the preseason rankings for high school hockey.
See you next week.